TIFU by not drinking enough water. So this happened back at the end of August and went through the beginning of September. I wasn't feeling well on Tuesday and was able to see my doctor on Wednesday. Got tested for flu and COVID, and turns out I had both at the same time. Side note: 1/10 would not recommend. Went home and told to drink a lot of fluids. Now usually I do drink a lot of water. I go through a 32 ounces bottle about 45 times a day and thought I'd be fine. Well, I wasn't feeling super thirsty and proceeded to not drink much water. Come early Thursday morning, I get up, go to the bathroom, and go to wash my hands. As I turn the faucet on, I realize that I'm just standing there. I try to force my arms to move, but they won't. Next thing I know, I hear water running and it's dark. I had the light off, and I'm on the floor. I attempted to get up and realized I'm back on the floor. I told myself I had to get up to turn the water off to keep from paying more money on my water bill. It was actually only a few minutes and it's a flat fee up to a set amount, but I wasn't thinking straight and not used to the flat fee. So I try to get up, grab the sink, and wake up again on the floor. This time I make it up, turn off the water and stumble back to bed. Both knees hurt when I walked as I hurt them when I fell. I get back to bed exhausted and lay there for a bit and fall back to sleep. Around 6 I get up again to try and get water. Get to the kitchen and grab my water container to realize once again that I'm just standing there. I couldn't get the water container in, so it fell and I stumble and sit down again and don't pass out this time. After this 5th time I called 911 since I'm by myself and don't know many people here. Ambulance arrives and takes me to the ER. Passed out 2 more times on the way there. So thankfully I didn't drive, as I either would have wrecked or died. Get to the ER and they give me fluids and do lab work. Turns out I was very dehydrated and that's why I passed out. Spent the next day and a half in the hospital until my labs and heart rate were better. Thankfully it didn't cost a lot, but was definitely scary and not something I want to do again. So PSA: if you're sick, drink a lot of fluids so you don't make my mistake. TLDR: I got sick and didn't drink enough water. It made me dehydrated and I passed out a few times and spent some time in the hospital as a result. For my hydroless homies out there, I was once like you. You're not gonna drink more water and fix everything. It won't make your life incredible or fix all your problems, but you have no idea how many problems you currently have that can be solved by drinking more water. I did this back in July after a night drinking. Had loads of running around to do the next morning. Realized I was thirsty, so went to get a drink. Got a head rush like I'd stood up too quickly and then woke up on the floor. Pissed myself. Neighbor there and the missus phoning an ambulance. When I'd feel I'd smacked the back of my head on the wall and knocked myself out. Got a couple of days off work though. It's concerning that you had such an extreme reaction to drinking less water than usual. It shouldn't come on that quickly, should it? I'm not a doctor, but it seems concerning. It's not just taking in water. You need electrolytes: sodium, potassium, magnesium and calcium in order to keep that water in your body. The same thing happened to me on our last cruise. Got COVID, didn't drink enough and passed out twice while on an excursion. The Santorini hospital was very nice. The cruise line reimbursed us for the excursions. My medical insurance paid the bill and I got a good story to tell the grandkids. Bad news. Once this happens, you become permanently sensitive to dehydration and are more prone to it from then onwards. Happened to me. Water, it's the spice of life. Interesting. Glad you're okay. I had COVID in October. I took Paxlovid, which gave me GI issues, but nothing they didn't warn me about. I noticed one day I wasn't staying as hydrated. Like my body wasn't giving me any feedback that I was thirsty. The next day, I tried to be more mindful of fluids. Later that evening I'm hanging out and I start to feel super weird. Like a lot of anxiety and like the room was closing in on me. Got up and was dizzy. Spent a minute outside trying to breathe through it. Lol. Eventually decided to take a few at-home blood pressure and heart rate readings. Sky high. First was in the 130s. Next one in the 150s. My highest at-rest reading ever. I put my hand on my chest and it was beating ridiculously hard. Started frantically Googling the numbers on my readings. All of which indicated this could be life-threatening and I need immediate medical intervention. Tell my partner. We call 911. I take a little ambulance ride to the ER where they start an IV. Took almost 3 bags of fluids but my vitals eventually got better. Turns out, severe dehydration, likely brought on by the Paxlovid diarrhea. Heart rate was the body's way of trying to compensate. I was so dehydrated they couldn't find my veins. Was scary and humbling. They said if my heart rate got any higher they would have zapped me. And they mention people in this situation often pass out. So wild. Particularly not having much intel from my body that this was becoming an issue. Crazy experience, right? I once passed out at work due to dehydration. And then I almost passed out a couple of months after that while out with friends. Long story short, I always carry a water bottle on me. Or else I get anxious.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.